Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when you know they know what they're doing. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So that's the question many people are asking themselves once they figure out what narcissism is. Do these people know what they're doing? Many people have their own opinions. Not any one person has every answer on the narcissistic abusive cycle. My vantage point is, of course, they know what they're doing. They breathe the same air you breathe. They put on the same clothes that you wear. They buy the same brands, they drive the same cars, etc. The narcissist is a calculated creature. They look to infiltrate people's lives. They look to get as close to these people as they possibly can. And when they get as close to these people as they possibly can, that's when everything shifts, everything changes, and that's when you're entering the devaluation stage. The narcissist wears a mask, figuratively and sometimes literally. And what they will do is they will shapeshift throughout life, appearing in one form and appearing in another form. When they got really close to you, you didn't know what you were up against. Again, you weren't taught this in school, so how could you know that there was a person who turned out to be your best friend or perhaps your romantic partner or business partner that was trying to take from you and to gaslight you and to give you the silent treatment and to destroy your life and take whatever they could from you? This is what the narcissist does. This is what they've been doing since long before they met you. It's what they tried to do with you, and it's what they're doing right now if they're still out gallivanting the globe. The narcissist knows what to do. They know which buttons to press. The narcissist knew who you were long before you who knew you were. Meaning, they could sense if you were an empath. They could sense if you were committed. They knew if you were giving to a fault. They knew if you were a people pleaser. They tested your boundaries rather quickly. They saw if you would drop everything that you were doing to help them out. And when they did that over and over and over again, then you became what I call the indentured servant, or the pawn, or the pauper, or the errand person. The person who would regulate them, the person who would put out the fires that they were starting either intentionally or unintentionally. But you were the person to regulate them, and they knew this. The narcissist needs people. Now you may pause and say, yeah, well, I need people too, Andrew. What do you mean? Well, you need people because you need loving, stable, kind, healthy relationships, two-way reciprocal relationships. The narcissist needs anybody, from low-hanging fruit to anybody that they can get their grubby little fingers on, because this is what the narcissist does. They scour the earth. They scour the planet looking for what is called supply. And what is supply? Supply can be a pet. It can be a human being. It can be an Amazon package. It can be a car. It can be an event, a ceremony, a graduation. It can be a wedding. Supply can be just you stuck in the household, sitting right next to the narcissist, whether you married them, they were your adult child, or your sibling, etc., or roommate, and they would be zapping your energy. And you would be sitting on that couch not knowing what narcissism was or is, and you would feel drained because that's what the narcissist was doing. And back then, when you would try to break the ice and say, hey, is everything okay? Or you want to play a game, or do you want to play cards, or do you want to go for a walk, or do you want to go grab some food or something? Maybe they answer you, maybe they don't. Maybe they shrug their shoulders. Maybe they give you more of the silent treatment. Maybe they pick up their laptop, their cell phone, and their tablet, and they go to a different room. Why would somebody do that? Somebody would do that to punish the other person, which was you. And they did that over and over and over again. So remember, the longer you're in these relationships, the more toxicity you are experiencing. The more toxicity you're experiencing, the more accustomed you get to it. The more accustomed you get to it, the more you have to navigate the minefield of misery and the cesspool of manipulation and the toxicity of the relationship. You have to find ways to get that person who turned out to be the narcissist or a toxic person to communicate with you when they don't want to. Now you may say there, what do you mean when they don't want to? Well, the narcissist wants what they want when they want it. And if they don't want to do something, they're not going to do it. They're not going to lift a finger. That's why, again, go back to the household. Say you lived with the narcissist. Well, or maybe you had lunch with them once in a while, or you were with them. But that's why when they were communicating with you, let's use the household, you were living with them. Maybe you were sitting right next to them and you were trying to talk to them and they didn't want anything to do with you because they were giving you silent treatment while they're on one of their 3 smartphones looking for your replacement, i.e. the new supply. But when the doorbell would ring or someone would knock on the door, they would put things down and they would go answer the door, and then they would put on the rosy cheeks or say, come on in, have a cup of tea, let's catch up, let's talk, let's see what's going on. And then you again would be scratching your head saying, wait, I just sat next to you for 3, 4, 5 hours. You didn't say a word to me, and I tried to engage with you. I tried to talk to you, communicate with you. And then someone else comes over and you're acting like it's the best person on the planet or everything's puppies and rainbows. Why would somebody do that? Because they're twisting the knife in you deeper and deeper. They are ignoring you, abusing you, invalidating you, not taking care of you, or not admonishing, not acknowledging that you're a human being. That's why when you're in these relationships, you're less than. But when they were putting you on the side, basically shelving you for that period of time, they were talking to that other person. That other person, they were laughing it up and having a couple cups of tea and saying, let's make plans in a couple hours. Yeah, I'll pick you up and we'll go to the mall, or we'll do this. And then the door closes, the neighbor, the guest leaves, and then maybe they don't even sit on the couch. Maybe they just grab their gear, which is their tablets or devices. They go grab a shower, get ready to go, and then say, hey, I'm going to the mall. I'll be back in a few hours. And you would say, but I asked you to go to the mall at 10 o'clock this morning. What happened there? And they would say, oh, no, I need to get something. I didn't need to get it before, but now I know I need to get something. And then again, they will go. The front door closes, the car starts up, they're gone. And there goes your Sunday morning, afternoon, and probably evening. These are examples. Now, how could somebody treat somebody one way and treat somebody completely different? It's because what the narcissist needs in the moment. And if you serve them in that moment, well, of course, they're going to appear to be kind and healthy. But if they don't need you and someone else better comes along for their purposes or what they deem to be better, they're going to put on the mask for that person. But back then, you didn't know this. You weren't taught this in school. So what you were doing is you were working on trying to fix a relationship that was unfixable. You were tolerating the gaslighting, the silent treatment, the stonewalling, the triangulation, the financial abuse, the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, the spiritual abuse. You tolerated everything and more, and the narcissist knew what they were doing. So when you kept on watching them treat friends, colleagues, neighbors, your family members better than you at times, and they were treating you less than, that adds up to death by 1,000 paper cuts, but you couldn't figure it out. But now you know. If somebody can talk to one person one way and in a split second turn to talk to somebody else in a completely different way over and over and over again, then tomorrow they talk to the person who they were devaluing in a nice way and the person they're being nice to in a devaluing way, that's instability. That screams toxicity. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but human beings should be treated equally, no matter where you're from, what language you speak, or no matter what position you have in life. You should be in a reciprocal, stable, healthy two-way relationship, but the narcissist couldn't have that. What they wanted was to control the relationship. They wanted to control you. They wanted to dominate you. They wanted to put your life on hold. The whole time they were doing that, they wanted you to be working for them, which means simple things like this: filling up their gas tank with gas, buying food for them, buying clothes, watches, trips, cars, vacations, everything. They wanted you doing whatever they wanted you to do. And if you did those things, you would not be rewarded. You would get a side of the narcissist that you were accustomed to seeing maybe once or twice a year. Remember that holiday called Groundhog Day? I'm going to focus on that for a moment. And you should play this part of the video a few times. And I'm not being funny, because Groundhog Day goes over and over and over again. Well, this part is going to be similar. When you're in the narcissistic relationship, it's like Groundhog Day over and over and over again, because the narcissist is dull and boring and they are stuck in a loop. And they want to just keep on staying stuck in that loop. That's why the narcissistic abusive cycle goes around and around and around. And it starts with the love bomb / euphoric stage, goes to the devaluation stage, then the ending and perhaps a Hoover. Never accept a Hoover. But another part of Groundhog Day is the same cycle, the mini cycles within the body of that relationship you were a part of. You see, there were many cycles that lasted sometimes for a few hours, a weekend, a week, a month, or longer periods of time. And that's why you would be scratching your head when you're in this relationship. Say you just got out of a mini devaluation stage, and let's say that they were love bombing, you were being really nice to and pleasant. You would be really scratching your head saying, is something wrong with me? I don't get it. I'm the same person. I keep on being the same person. I keep on being consistent, and I keep on asking them what's going on, why they're doing what they're doing, etc. And some days they're super high and some days they're super low. What's going on here? Well, again, you weren't taught this in school. So when you were caught up in that cycle, it was like Groundhog Day over and over and over again. And what Groundhog Day is, it's when you're stuck in a loop, you're stuck in a trap, and you don't know what's going on. And you can't count the days, the weeks, the months, the years go by. And eventually you look and you say, what happened to my life? Maybe I was in that relationship for 1 year, 2, 15, 30, whatever, but time goes by so quickly because you're being abused and all of your energy and effort isn't going into where it should be, which is into you. It's going into propping up a relationship that was going to implode one way or the other, which was the narcissistic relationship. So when you realize that they know, or when you know that they know what they're doing, that's a breakthrough for you. That's a big part on the healing path. It's a big part on the journey, recognizing and wrapping your head around that these people know exactly what they're doing. Think about the ending of the relationship you were a part of. When it ended, it probably ended with a thud, a crash, or a bang. It came out of left field, and you weren't prepared for it. A, because you weren't taught narcissism in school. B, because you didn't know what you're up against. And C, you thought that this person was going to keep their words or their vows or their commitment or whatever it was. Well, you now know that anybody is expendable to the narcissist. Anybody is replaceable to the narcissist. And the narcissist doesn't care about one person on the planet, only themselves. But when that ending happened, and then let's say that you figured out who they were with next, meaning maybe it wasn't a romantic relationship. Maybe it was a brother or sister and they went off to a different brother or sister that they hadn't talked to in 5 years, one of yours, of course. Or maybe it's one of theirs, who knows? Well, then you would say, what's going on? I don't get it. Like, why is that person talking to them? They weren't talking to them for the 5 years that I was communicating with them. Now they are. Well, it's because the narcissist is stuck in a loop. And they sold that person a bill of goods, or that a lot of time had gone by and that person said, yes, I'll communicate with them again. This is how the narcissist uses people. They keep a web of people on deck. At any one time in the web of manipulation, there are probably dozens of people in there, maybe even more. And these people are from the past, many of them. Some are from the present, or a good amount are, and some are from the future that will be recycled or they haven't even met yet. But the narcissist will go wherever they feel it's safe, or wherever they feel it's comfortable, or wherever somebody will put a roof over their head, or pay their way, or let them stay for a couple days, which turns into months, etc. This is what the narcissist does. They're a taker. They want to take, take, and take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right. They want to take more. Now, having said all these things, when you know they know what they're doing, it's because they're stuck in that loop. It's Groundhog Day every day to the narcissist. They keep doing the same things. They keep on mimicking back to whomever they are with, whatever that person's words are, or their mindset, or their vocabulary, or their hobbies, or the way they're dressing, or the car they're driving, etc. And once that person gets discarded, then they go off to the new supply, whoever that is, and they mimic that person. This is why the narcissist has no originality. This is why there's no substance to these people. That's why there's no core to them. There's no authenticity. There's no genuineness. What the narcissist does is they literally go from person to person throughout the days, the weeks, the months, and their years, and they try to stay hidden in plain sight, and they try to top up with supply whenever they can. I will give you a prime example of this right now. Let's say you were married to the narcissist as an example, but it doesn't have to be a marriage, but you were. And let's say that the narcissist was peppering you with abuse for a week straight. Maybe you go back in your memory and you can probably come up with that time period. I can in a second. And then you were dreading them coming home. Let's say it was a Friday night. I'm making this up as an example, but this is a very good example. Friday night, you're home. You're dreading them coming home because you've just been given the silent treatment for the last week, and it's a weekend, and here we go. You don't have work, so you don't have much to do, and you're really not happy about when they come home. They come home, you're expecting the silent treatment, and what do? Well, they give you a big hug, a peck on the cheek, and they say, hey, how was your day today, honey? How was it? Did you have a great day? And now here you are, dumbfounded. Again, you don't have the wisdom. You don't know what's going on. You're saying, wait a minute, you didn't talk to me the whole week. You ignored me. You abused me, gave me the silent treatment. I cleaned the house, I cooked, I did everything I could. It's Friday and now you're in a great mood. And you're saying to yourself, why are you in a great mood? It's not because it's Friday. That's what you're supposed to think. That's not why it was. Why it was because that Friday, or probably throughout the week, but mainly that Friday, they probably abused somebody else, or they probably got some supply from some other resource. Here is an example, and I hope you're following this. Let's say that day, the narcissist finally was on one of their dating apps or one of their social media platforms right before they went home to you. Again, this is an example. And that person they were trying to target and communicate with finally talked to them and finally said, yes, we can do a video call, or we can do an audio call, or here's my number, and let's start connecting via the dating app or via social media. We can start doing it over the weekend. Think about what just happened there. What happened there is you were thinking that the narcissist, which was your spouse at the time, came home and they were in a great mood because they loved you and they cared about you and they wanted to have a great weekend. That's what you were supposed to think. That's not what it was. What it was they just tapped into a new source of supply, and they couldn't wait to open the gift wrap. They couldn't wait to rip the gift wrapping off of that package and see what the next new shiny object would present to them. Think about what I shared with you. So while you were on the hook thinking that they loved you and cared about you and you're gonna have a great weekend now, even though you were dumbfounded because you were just given the silent treatment for a week in a row, the narcissist, because they can't regulate themselves and because they can't contain their emotions and because they're basically stuck in a childlike mindset, and I can say that because I was a child myself at one point, but I grew and I developed properly. My hope is you did too. But they can't contain their jubilation, their joy, and their excitement for connecting with somebody on a dating app or a social media platform over the weekend when you were going to be with them. Now play that part of the video, play it a few times. That happened in your life way more than you will ever know. And you may say, how would you know that, Andrew? Well, I would know it because I watched it happen and I've lived it. Number two, I would know it because I can easily place myself in the toxicity, the mindset of the narcissist after all of the years of unraveling and educating myself on the cycle. And not everything is how it appears to be on this planet called Earth, and everybody reveals themselves in time. So using that one example, which is very powerful, and I've never shared it before in videos, think about what I just mentioned to you. You were just given a week of the silent treatment. You weren't talked to. It's now a Friday. 6 o'clock, whatever time it is. The narcissist comes home, you're expecting a silent treatment. You're expecting it to be a really not good weekend. They're in a great mood, but you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything that you hadn't done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or that day, but they're in a great mood all of a sudden. It's not because they got a pay raise. It's not because they got a new car. It's because they tapped into something they've been working on behind your back for days, weeks, or months, and that person finally caved in. They finally believed the mask, the version of the mask that they showed to that person that they didn't show to you. That's why the narcissist was in a great mood. So now getting back to present day, when you know they know what they're doing, it's when you see the behaviors like I just illustrated and you realize that the narcissist many times is super high or super low. Very rarely are they in the middle because they don't like commonplace. They need destruction, they need distraction. They need to be occupied. Their time has to be consumed, which is why the narcissist can't sit still. It's why they have multiple smartphones. It's why they're always looking for supply. It's why they will go out in a snowstorm or a hailstorm or a hurricane at 10 o'clock at night when the store closes at 10:15 and the store is 30 minutes away, but they have to get the milk for tomorrow, even though tomorrow's a weekend and the kids don't have school. Why do you think somebody would do that? It's because they're going out to connect with somebody. Whether it's physically, meaning actually see them physically, maybe it's just getting out and going in the car for a drive 1, 2, 3, 5 miles away and texting or talking to that person. Maybe it's visiting someone who lives a quarter of a mile away from you and they're doing something with that person. I don't know what they were doing, but I do know they weren't with you, and when they weren't with you, you'll never know what they were doing. This is why nobody, and I mean nobody, actually knows what happens when you are not with the narcissist. You know what's going on most times when you're with them, but when you're not with them, you'll never know what they were doing, because they will lie, they will steal, they will cheat, they will paint any story possible however they want to paint it. Now, using that 10 o'clock grocery store example, let's say the narcissist came home at 11:30, an hour and a half later. The store closed at 10:15. Yeah, not many stores closed at that time, but that's the example. They came home at 11:30, and then you were saying, wait, I was calling you, I was texting you, I couldn't get through. What happened? Are you okay? Now, what would they do there? Maybe they would say, got a flat tire, and some stranger, wink, wink, helped me out. But don't worry, I didn't want to bother you because this young strapping man or this young beautiful woman helped me out in that thunderstorm, and it was amazing. They did the best thing. I didn't want to disturb you. I didn't want to bother you. Well, what just happened there? Number one, if that's real, and I doubt it was, but it's possible. Number one, they just triangulated you. 2, they devalued you. 3, they kept you stuck. 4, they didn't answer your phone. 5, they kept you waiting and wondering where they were. That's abuse any way you cut it. That's what the narcissist does. So when the narcissist wants to get out, it's not because they want to go to the store to buy milk for the cereal tomorrow morning. It's because they have something on their mind. They're trying to get supply. They're trying to do something behind your back or right in front of you, knowing that you'll never figure it out until it's too late. That's why when you're in these relationships, you can never get your bearings. You are walking around on eggshells. You don't know what's going on, and you lose everything about yourself because you're trying to fix the relationship. And the narcissist knows this. So when I keep saying this to you, and I've said it for years in videos, the narcissist knows this, it's because they do. What they do when they discard somebody or when the relationship ends is they fine-tune their skill set or their craft. Their levels of manipulation improve, and they use those tools, manipulating techniques, as I mentioned, triangulation, smear campaign, gaslighting, stonewalling, verbal abuse, mental abuse, everything. They use those on a higher level to the next person. They get the next person in your shoes, but now they have a higher skill set and they abuse that person more. And you may say, well, no, I got it the worst. There's no way anyone had it as bad as I am or as I did. Maybe that's true, I can't tell you. What I can tell you is for those of us who have been in the narcissistic abusive cycle, even for 1 minute, it's 1 minute too long. And comparing with the length of the relationship to someone else's length, I wouldn't do that. I would be focusing on yourself, and I would be realizing that you need to heal just like I did. You need to focus on yourself just like I did. You have to go no contact just like I did. You have to maintain no contact. You have to take a good hard look at all the people that you surrounded yourself with in the past and that currently who you are surrounding yourself with right now. Because not everybody is who they appear to be, and the flying monkey still may be flying around you just may not know it. The narcissist enlists enablers, flying monkeys, and people that are subservient to them, people who are reliant upon the narcissist, many times for a home, for tuition, or a job, or car, etc., whatever it would be. And this is what the narcissist does. So when you know they know what they're doing, that's when it's game, set, match for you, which means you win. You're the winner. It's not the narcissist. And side note here, life isn't a game. Life is an experience. Life is to be cherished, honored, relished, celebrated, and to be fulfilled. You shouldn't be, and I shouldn't have been in a toxic relationship for 1 minute. But guess what happened? The narcissist knew what they were doing. They targeted us. They got us locked up, love bombed us, had us fall in love with them or enter a relationship with them. And then they slowly, insidiously took away whatever they could from us. Again, that includes your money, time, your health, your purpose, your focus, your mindset, everything about you. And then when they took whatever they wanted, they discarded the person, which was me and possibly was you, and they went on to a new person to do the exact same thing. That's why they know what they're doing. Think about it. In a loving, kind, stable, healthy, two-way reciprocal relationship, you will have two people working for each other towards one common goal of unity, of commitment, of growth, of togetherness. There will be no keeping score. There will be no jealousy, no enviousness. There will be trust. There will be celebration of both people's birthdays, both people's accomplishments. People will be listened to. They will be heard. They will be acknowledged. They will be recognized, and they will be celebrated. That's a loving, stable, kind, healthy two-way relationship. You don't get that in the narcissistic relationship. In the narcissistic relationship, they need people worshiping them. They need people living. They need people doing things for them. They need to live in other people's minds rent-free. And that's what the narcissist does. So once those people break the chains, and the chains are, and the ties are, the four ties are the emotional tie, the financial tie, the physical tie, and the spiritual tie. Once people break those chains, then they begin to understand that there is so much abundance out there on the planet, and it doesn't include anything to do with the narcissist. But the narcissist did not want them to figure that out. So what does the narcissist have to do? As I mentioned earlier, they need people to regulate them and to do things for them. So once someone breaks the ties and puts themselves back together, boom. Actually, before you put yourself back together, the narcissist is already off to a new source of supply or sources. Now here, I'm going to share this part of the video, play this again a couple times also. Think about the Hoover. What is a Hoover? A Hoover is when the narcissist is trying to get a temperature test on you, a pulse check, to see where you are on the healing path, to see if you've seen behind the mask, to see if you've healed, to see if you block them, to see if you've gone no contact, and etc. A Hoover does not mean that they necessarily want to get back in a relationship with you. It doesn't mean that, although sometimes it does. What it means is they're seeing how strong you are. That's the very basic, easiest way I can say it. The narcissist is seeing how strong you are. I'm talking mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's what I'm talking about, maybe even financially. When you say no to someone, which in this case is the narcissist, you are saying yes to yourself. I've been saying that, a different version of that, for years on videos, which is when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. Now I'm focusing on the narcissist. When you say no to them, I'm not saying actually say the word no to them. You're off the radar. You don't respond. You do nothing to them. They've been blocked for months or years or weeks, who knows, but you maintain no contact, you maintain the blocking, then your actions speak louder than words. And your words do the speaking for you. And if the narcissist leaves you alone, and my hope is they do, well, then they found a new source of supply, or they know they can't get to you any longer, or both. But think about the Hoover. The Hoover is because the narcissist is stuck in that little cycle, the cycle of abuse, love bomb, devaluation, ending of relationship, Hoover, love bomb. They're stuck in it. The person isn't you who is stuck in it any longer. You were stuck in it. I was stuck in it. But you're out and you've healed, or you're healing. That's why you need to stay out and continue on the path moving forward each and every day and continue to get your cup full. The narcissist cannot change no matter what you think. And yes, they know what they're doing. How they know what they're doing is because what they did to you, they did before with other people. And they did it with you, and it worked. It worked very well. It worked very well with me. But it no longer can work with me or you, because now you see the signs. You now trust your instincts. You now trust your intuition, and you pay attention to red flags. These are 3 things you couldn't do when you were in the relationship because you didn't have the education or the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. You didn't know what you know now. Now you do. So now the onus is on you. Now everything is on your shoulders, meaning you have to maintain no contact. You have to not give the narcissist any avenue to communicate with you. You have to batten down the hatches and close all the avenues that were open to the narcissist and to flying monkeys as well. Because this is the path. The path is living your best life. This is when doors of abundance will be kicked open wide for you. It's when doors of opportunity and possibility will be presented to you. And these doors are never, ever going to happen for you to be opened if you're still communicating with the narcissist. That's not the way it works. The energetic level, the vibrational state that you are on when you're communicating with a narcissist, it's much lower than when you're out of it. And I'm sure you know that. And if you don't, play that part a few times because it's completely true. You see, the narcissist is stuck in the low vibrational quagmire state. That's a low vibrational energy state. And yes, the narcissist has energy just like you do, but they use it for bad reasons. Let's put it like that. Toxicity is their energy. But your energy is higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars. And they try to capture your energy and your beautiful, bright, shining light and use it as a fuel source for a period of time, which was the length of that relationship. And they achieved that or accomplished it until when? That's right, until they couldn't do it any longer. That's why they need to find a new fuel source, because the narcissist needs to be needed, and they need to keep people stuck and trapped in that loop of abuse. And you were stuck in it for a period, but no longer are you in it. So when you know they know what they're doing, it's when you wrap your head around that the behaviors are still the same. The targets change from day to day, week to week, month to month. The narcissist only destroys relationships. They only deteriorate. They continue to blame anybody but themselves. They continue to not take accountability. They continue to think they're above the law. They continue to think they can manipulate any system on the planet. They continue to think that they're more beautiful or handsome, more intelligent, and that they have all the answers to everything. And above all for this video, before I get ready to close it, the narcissist believes that they will never ever be discovered or found out. And you know what's sad and pitiful about that? Is because in the old days before the internet or the smartphone, they were right. We would have never figured them out. Maybe some religious organizations knew about it, but they probably didn't call it narcissism, who knows? But they kept that under wraps also. They didn't let people know about it. But now the internet and the smartphone is here. And now AI is here also, etc. So we, the collective consciousness, are growing at a very accelerated rate. And while we're growing, the narcissist is flailing, and they're scattering, looking to find sources of supply. And their time is running out. The clock is ticking on the narcissist. The beautiful, bright, shining light and the educated empath are becoming more and more powerful each and every day on this planet. More and more powerful each and every day on the planet. You are one of them, whether you know it or not. I am certainly one of them. And having gone through the cycle and risen through the ashes like a phoenix and put yourself back together second by second at times, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, etc. And now that you've healed or you're healing, you realize that that was a very close call. The narcissist tried to take you down for the count, but they couldn't do it. That's why you're here. That's why you're different than everybody else they targeted, which probably includes the new supply. And again, side note, pro tip, don't think about the new supply. If you can avoid it, don't think about it. They're getting peppered just like you were. They are not living their best life. It's not puppies and rainbows. Everything isn't how it appears on the exterior. That's one of the traps that you fell into, and the new supply is falling into that trap as well. But understand, when you know they know what they're doing, that's a powerful day. That's today is perhaps that day for you when you realize, wait, I do know they know what they're doing. I want nothing to do with them. And maybe today's the day I go no contact. Maybe today's the day I throw away pictures. Maybe today's the day I throw away that coffee mug they gave me for a milestone birthday years ago that said, happy birthday, or Feliz Cumpleaños. Who knows what part of the path you're on, but the point is we are all on the healing path, headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. You could be 30 feet in front of me. You could be 2 steps behind me. You could be a mile in front of me. I don't know where you are on the journey, but what I do know is we're all headed in the same direction. So continue moving forward each and every day and continue to get your cup full and realize that you are stronger than you know. And above all, don't give up. Don't ever give up. So that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You're not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I fumbled some words today. I am so sorry for that. It's rare when I fumble like that, but I had to because there is so much I want to unpack in my mind. And this video is a little bit longer than usual. Actually, this is the longest video I've ever created. But I want to share so much, and I cannot wait to speak publicly and to meet people in real life and connect with everybody. And eventually, in time, I will be working on doing that. Currently, I am open to doing it, more than willing to do it, because in my year of health, which is 2025, things are looking really good. So my next step is to speak publicly. However, I haven't lifted a finger to do it yet. I'm still doing what I'm doing, my one-on-one sessions, creating videos and content and answering emails and helping the community to grow and to thrive and to understand that we are more powerful than we ever knew, and we're getting stronger each and every day. But having said all that, you have to understand something. The narcissist wants you believing that they are a victim, or that they can't help themselves, or that they don't remember, or that it's not their fault, or they have no idea what you're talking about. Any way you cut it, if the behaviors that you are considering actually took place, and they did with me, it doesn't matter if you think they know what they're doing or not. The fact that matters is you suffered and endured abuse. That's the true story. So you can say the narcissist doesn't know what they're doing, and I wouldn't agree with you at all, because they know exactly what they're doing. I'm sharing with you, no matter how you cut it, you're healing from a relationship that tried to destroy your life. There was not one other relationship you were ever a part of that tried to destroy your life. There was not one other relationship you were ever part of that you had to heal from. This is the only relationship that you've had to heal from, and you've had to understand that that person really wanted to do damage to you, and they did. That's why you're getting your cup full. So really understand the magnitude of the narcissistic relationship. Don't think that you're stronger than you are. Maintain no contact. Stop giving these people chances. Get off the radar and continue to move forward. That's what I do, and my hope is that's what you're doing. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everybody.